Hi, welcome to BariNation, where we support the bariatric community with humor, humility, and honesty.
You've just tuned into a podcast that welcomes you into a community, a resource center, and a safe place that powers your journey towards personal wellness.
Our goal is you leave us today feeling hopeful, inspired, and ready to live your best bariatric life.
What is the BariNation membership community? Well, it's a network of experts and peers where you can connect with the support, education, and resources you need in the moment to move through your bariatric life with confidence. Almost every day, you can attend bariatric support groups led by licensed mental health professionals, classes taught by credentialed experts, and meetups that are grounded in accountability and fun. Become a member today and tap into kind and caring support. Join us at barination.mn.co.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the podcast. Today, Jason and I are here to help you get through maybe something that you're feeling a little bit nervous about coming up these summer months, and that's the barbecue. Everybody stresses out about a barbecue. You're worried about all the choices and it's overwhelming. And oh my gosh, am I going to stick to my plan? We are here to hopefully calm you down a little bit and let you know that one barbecue is not going to derail your bariatric process.
They come often. They come all summer long. So if you lose your mind about one, you got to lose your mind about all of them, and then you spend a whole summer just in the crazy house. And who wants to do that? You get a nice jacket with silver buckles that make you hug yourself. Nobody wants to do all that. Like, we're not trying to get there.
No, nobody wants that. And we didn't have surgery to really be panicked all the time about food. And we know that surgery doesn't magically make that panic go away. But what we're really hoping is that we can shed some light on how we have learned to not panic about all of the amazing kind of food related events that happen in our life and approach them with a little bit of a different mindset. Barbecues are always protein forward anyways. There's always some type of protein on the menu. So right out of the gate, you know that there is going to be something there that you can enjoy that is protein forward. The accoutrements are another story, right? Normally at a barbecue, at least in my barbecues, it's going to be beans, it's going to be potato salad, there could be a Jell-O salad, there's probably always chips involved. But if I'm starting with protein, I'm going to fill up on that. And then I usually have space for a few bites of something else. And my strategy at these barbecues or these get-togethers is I always get a lay of the food land. Like, what is being offered? What am I most excited about? What do I want to make sure I'm having 2 or 3 bites of? And then I just pass on the rest. I start with my protein. I usually fill up on that. And then if I've got space at the end, I have a couple bites of whatever I'm really excited to try. But above and beyond that, that's how I kind of not panic about everything that's being served.
Yeah, I talk a lot around the holidays about the tablespoon method, and I've adapted that all year round. So a tablespoon of potato salad is not going to derail my journey. A tablespoon of beans is the same thing. Like, I look at it all the same way. So the protein heavy and the protein first is always the most important thing. If it is somewhere where you are very familiar with what's going on, you can always message ahead of time and say, hey, is it cool if I bring something for you to put on the grill for me that's different? So that way, you know, you're bringing things that you want, the things that are going to serve you the best. So you are guilt free as far as that side goes, because I know sometimes people are a lot sauce heavy on things they put on the grill. There may be some things that not everybody uses sugar-free sauce. There may be something in the way that they prepare the meat and the way that they season the meat that is not really up to you. So what you can do to prevent those things is you can do what you like to do to your meat ahead of time and bring your protein source to the barbecue and have them just throw it on the grill for you. I know that's it's helped me a lot kind of in my very early on journey when I was going places. I would bring things that I know would work for me. So if there are things that you're concerned about being heavy on your stomach or not, hitting you a little weird, you know your body best. So do what you can to prepare for those times. I carried a cooler with me for the first couple of months everywhere I went, and it had protein shakes, it had protein water, it had all the things that I needed. That if I decided I showed up somewhere and none of that shit worked for me, I switched and I dug into the cooler and I made it work.
Yep. And I think that is such a great tool or technique that we can use Oftentimes we forget we can bring the things with us that we know are going to be on plan for us. And it is totally fine to show up or to arrive at a party and have your own food. That is okay. And if somebody is making you feel not welcome or a little bit weird about that, it could be an opportunity for you to educate them a little bit on what it means to be living a bariatric compliant life, and that you need to eat a little bit more frequently, or you have to ensure that you're hitting your protein goals. That's totally fine. I mean, you can bring your own vessel container, fill it up with a protein heavy drink. This can be the beverage that you're carrying around, right? Your barbecue. And let's say you really want to enjoy chips this day. Bring your own higher protein chip options, or bring things that you know will work for you. And especially like what you said, Jason, you can absolutely check with your host or your hostess ahead of time and offer to bring a dish that is absolutely on point for you. So you know that this Jell-O salad you've made yourself, you've made it right to within your parameters. You know you can have a couple bites of it. Everybody else can enjoy it. It's a way for you to contribute to the party, and it's a way for you not to panic and freak out about, can I eat this or can I not eat this?
Yeah, and it's a very good, like you had said, it's a very good opportunity to educate, because some people may be very curious about what you're going through and what your daily, your day to day looks like. Mm-hmm. And it's a good way for you to, to kind of invite people into your bubble and say, hey, these are the types of things that I'm eating to get me through the day. And you never know, you may turn somebody onto something that you're doing that they never thought about doing themselves.
Yes.
And you're helping that person to further along in a journey that they didn't even know they should be on.
Oh yeah, no, it really is a win-win scenario. And the other piece that we want you to keep in mind this summer and really all summer long is, we always talk about, you always have 3 options that are available to you in any food situation that you're presented with, right? You can choose to enjoy an item, you can choose to find an alternative, or you can choose to pass on that food item. Now, we know that when you are in the thick of it, and let's say you're going through the buffet line and you see something coming up that you're like, oh my God, I know I'm really going to want that. And you're having a hard time like making a decision. Quickly run through your mind. Do I really want to enjoy that? Is there an alternative that I could maybe quickly turn to that I see? Or is it okay that I pass on it? You always have those 3 choices available to you. And in the moment, it might feel like it is just so daunting and overwhelming. But if you really want to try to pass on an item, I know it sounds crazy, but Jason, you and I have talked about this all the time. If you don't see it, if you just leave it out of your vision space and you grab what you need and then you look the other way and you move on, that's really going to help you find that extra boost of willpower if you make the choice to pass on that item. I know it sounds crazy, but there's so much power in that, because if you're just not seeing it, your brain isn't focusing on it, and you can just move it on down the line.
And if it's something that's really like a struggle for you at the moment, there's nothing wrong with getting out of line, getting out of that serving line, taking a second, take a lap, take a breath, take whatever you need. Go talk to somebody and say, hey, listen, I just need to take a break for a second because something's really overwhelming for me. Mm-hmm. And breathe through it, talk through it, drink through it, drink your water. Like I still do my 20-ounce rule. Get 20 ounces of water down before you go back to it. That way you're 20 ounces heavier in, and you may not even care about that thing anymore. And if you go back and you decide that you really do, there's nothing wrong in having a little bit of it, because what you're going to do is you'll eat yourself more full and have more calories trying to out eat the thing you didn't want to get than it would be if you just had a small serving size of what you really wanted in the first place. Mm-hmm. Because we all know this as from our entire life. If you really, really want something, there's nothing that's going to substitute for that one thing you really, really want. Yep. So you're going to eat 5 different things trying to find that one thing, and then you're going to turn around and still eat the thing that you wanted in the first place.
Dude, Natalie talks about this all the time. And it's where this, enjoy, find an alternative, or pass really came from. Because there are certain things that are never going to have a good, adequate substitute for us, right? Like for me, I can think of like Cheetos. I absolutely freaking love Cheetos. And I have not come across a chip that is Cheeto-like that tastes like a damn Cheeto, right? So if I really want Cheetos and it is not something that I can pass on, I'm just going to have a handful of Cheetos and then I'm going to move on from that, right? Because my brain's not going to be thinking about it. I'm not going to be obsessing about it, and I can enjoy it in a quantity that is right for me at that moment. So we know that there are some things that you just want to enjoy, and that is okay. We are still allowed to enjoy food as bariatric patients. That's why this question is so important in the moment, because every barbecue that you go to, every food event that you encounter, you're going to have a different answer to those questions. And it's okay if in the moment you're like, nope, I really, really, really want to just enjoy this. Awesome. Enjoy it and then keep it moving. But asking yourselves those questions every time you have these opportunities is really powerful, because this is kind of how you like flex that muscle that we really kind of need as bariatric patients. Because some days it's going to be easier, some days it's going to be harder. But if we're not practicing it, we're never going to bulk up that muscle, and it's just going to be more challenging.
Right. So for our longtime listeners, they know my addiction to Cheez-Its. And if y'all think I'm not tripping on going to Taco Bell and getting one of the new Cheez-It menu items that they have that have giant Cheez-Its in them.
I've not seen
giant Cheez-Its. They
What?
have giant Cheez-It. They have a giant Cheez-It chalupa. They have a giant Cheez-It crunch wrap that has a giant Cheez-It in it. And listen, I have a Taco Bell half a mile from my house. I have not gone yet, but I'm like, I know it's there. And it's rolling around in here like, hey, you know what's down there? And I'm like, yes, I do know what's down there. But you know where I'm not going? There. Because I know what's going to happen if I go, and it's not going to be good.
Oh, okay. But thank you for sharing that, because we all know that there are some food items that will kick us down a path when it comes to eating that is just not healthy. And Jason, you know that if you enjoyed that, it could be really hard for you to say no to the next thing. So, all right, as patients, we are allowed to tell ourselves no. We are allowed to say, I can't enjoy that safely right now, or I can't enjoy that in a way that I know is going to lead to good things. So it is okay to just tell yourself, I'm not doing that. I can't do that today. I'm choosing to not do that today, right? Whatever verbiage you want to use, it has to be real for you. But acknowledging that sometimes we eat some things and that kicks us on a path that's not good for us is also a part of the journey. And you're living proof that, right, you can do it differently.
Yeah, well, and it also doesn't mean that it'll be that way forever. There's going to be a time where I'm going to be able to grab a handful of Cheez-Its and keep it moving, and it'd be fine. I for myself know that when it comes to those things, I will go and buy a box, and I will eat the box, and I will go buy a bigger box, and I will eat that. And so I know that there are a couple of things that I just can't do. And like, that's why I was able to do, when they brought the bagel back to McDonald's, the steak, egg, and cheese bagel, breakfast bagel. I knew I wanted one, so I went and got one, and now I haven't had one since. I pass McDonald's every single day on the way to work, and I'm like, meh, it's there, but I don't need it. Like, it's fine. It's just, there are certain things you can get and scratch the itch and be fine. And there's other things that I know it's not a good idea. Yeah. So that's why I've made it a point, like I said, until I can trust myself again, I just choose not to. It doesn't make me any better than the next person. It just means I kind of know where my limits are, because I've kind of been through this for a minute. So I'm learning. I still learn every single day as I go, but you know.
That reminds me of a really powerful episode. I don't think I was able to record with you guys, but you and Natalie interviewed Dr. Connie Stapleton on kind of this difference between like food addiction, or knowing when to say yes and when to say no on foods. And I feel like what you're talking about is very much aligned to that conversation, right? Because I think what her research has shown, and really what she believes, is that it is okay for us to abstain from foods, either for a short time or forever. But we have to make these decisions in service of our needs now and of our needs in the future. So if you know that you can't enjoy ice cream or popsicles or Cheetos or Cheez-Its, right? Whatever it is, it's okay for you to just draw a very solid line in the sand and say, I'm not eating that right now, because it's not safe for me to do so. We're allowed to do that.
Well, and the key word to that is right now. Like, it doesn't have to be forever. Like, so many people want to put the finality onto it, but there doesn't have to be anything that's forever. It's just a right now thing. And if you decide tomorrow or later on today that that's something you could do and be fine with, then it changes. It's fine. This is a fluid journey in such a way that you're never going to be locked into one position forever. Mm-hmm. Like, you have the fluidity to be able to move and make changes and do things as you go. And there's nothing wrong with that, because nobody can tell you the timeline of your journey. in any way, shape, or form. And that includes being able to say yes or no to foods.
Yep. Well, my friend, if there was one thing that you hope people take away from this episode, or there's one thing that you really want to have them take with them to their next barbecue, what would it be?
Just give yourself the space and grace to make the decisions that are going to best fit you in your journey. We talked about this before we jumped on the very math of, out of all the eating opportunities that you have in the month of July, which is hundreds of them, this is, maybe a handful of days. And the majority rule is 51% or better. You got to be doing better than when you don't. The 49 or 48% that you don't. So really, it honestly just comes down to making sure that you're mindful about the choices that you're making and just giving yourself, a little bit of time, a little space to relax and just realize that you're not going to get this nailed in one summer. So.
Yep. And that would definitely be mine, right? It's just know that a barbecue is an opportunity for you to reconnect with friends and family, to have a moment of fun, allow yourself to enjoy the festivities and the connections that you're making there. And just know that food doesn't have to be like the main dish of the barbecue, even though, it's a barbecue, right? Like you said that great in that podcast episode, right? Food doesn't have to be the main dish. It can be the side dish. So going into these barbecues this summer, we really hope that you are looking forward to the connection, to the friendship, to the laughter, and to the fun that you're going to be having there. And know that you can bring foods that are best aligned to you and your journey, and you don't have to panic about the rest. Just have some fun. It's the summertime, man. You're at a barbecue. Have some fun.
That's right. Enjoy.
What exactly is the BariNation membership community? It's a network of experts and peers where you can connect with the support, education, and resources you need in the moment to move through your bariatric life with confidence. Almost every day, you can attend bariatric support groups led by licensed mental health professionals, classes taught by credentialed professionals, and fun meetups hosted by experts and peers. Become a member today and tap into a kind and caring support. Join us at BariNation.mn.co.
All right, friends, we hope this episode inspires you to have a wonderful experience at one of your upcoming barbecue events. If you are a BariNation member, or if you are a Patreon supporter, a monthly supporter of this podcast, Jason and I are going to continue the conversation that we kind of started towards the end there. And that is surrounding this thing that we call Bari math. It can be really easy for us to panic about all of the food-centered events that we have coming up in our lives. But when you actually do the math, it is a very small number of eating opportunities that we're worrying about. So we're going to help you lower the temperature and not panic so much about the eating events that you have coming up. So if you're a member, or if you're a patron of this podcast, go check out the bonus episode now. That wraps up another empowering episode of the BariNation podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, keep the conversation going by joining the BariNation membership community, where you can attend live support events, access on-demand resources, and find a caring community.
Join us at BariNation.mn.co. If you found this podcast valuable, help us produce it by becoming a $5 monthly supporter at BariNationPodcast.com.
And just remember, at the end of the day, you've got this, we've got you, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.